So guys, if you want to see how I predicted a 70% plus rally on Brighton Pier, then stay tuned.
It's been a very difficult year. We've tried to do things to, keep the pier alive in the community, and we've had concerns throughout it about, our business and our type of business.
Will not hesitate in putting on the brakes and reimposing restrictions.
We did everything we were asked to do. So then for certain sections not be allowed to open was heartbreaking, because these are people's jobs that have been lost forever.
So guys, I've partnered up with MyFX Choice over the next couple of months to bring you some exciting content around FX, cryptos and shares. So stay tuned. Over the next couple of months, I'm going to be talking about the likes of 10 Music, a great share, and a little bit more information about that and what's happening there. So that's all sponsored by MyFX Choice. If you want to find out a little bit more about them, then get in the description below. They're a great company, great brokerage. They work on MT4 and MT5, and we're going to be working with them on some awesome content over the next couple of months. So Brighton Pier, I predicted a 70% rally, and I'm going to explain every step that I took to be able to make this prediction. What did I understand about Brighton Pier? We understood that there was going to be a massive increase in staycations. Now, most people know that the places people are going to visit are going to be Cornwall, Bournemouth, Brighton and Scotland for those staycations. It's safer to then do a staycation than it is to go abroad. That was a simple understanding that most people are aware of. So all I did was I looked for a stock that was going to benefit that over sort of the next 6 to 12 months. Understanding that bookings were going to go through the roof around Bournemouth and Brighton, especially, were areas that I wanted to focus on. So looking through the AIM market, which is the alternative investment market, I found Pier, P-I-E-R, which is Brighton Pier. I didn't know at the time that Brighton Pier even was a share, but hey, we can now take advantage of this, right? So Brighton Pier has so many restaurants, outdoor space, and is a general area of booming for good weather and the general UK population to go to when they can have some sort of level of enjoyment with the lockdown restrictions lifting. Staycation was going to boom, which was a very sort of known factor, I would have said, across the news. This was quite easy to predict by looking at simple factors of foreign flights and overseas travel still being banned from us to be able to do that. Also, the length that we have to isolate afterwards is around 7 to 10 days. So I know more people are going to be comfortable doing staycations, and these are areas of demand if you are going on a UK holiday, of which all this pent-up demand over the last year to 2 years is going to need to go somewhere. With pubs looking to reopen again, that was an opportunity that I wanted to take, knowing that Brighton Pier was an outdoor space where there was going to be lots of activity. Also, a really other interesting factor is that if you look on the insider shareholdings of who actually owns Brighton Pier, one of the largest shareholders is actually a guy called George Soros. For those that don't know George Soros, we're just going to do a quick reel for you here where you can see a little bit more information about him.
Hedge fund legend, billionaire philanthropist, often described as a bleeding heart liberal. George Soros was born in 1930 to a Jewish family in Budapest, Hungary. When the Nazis invaded, they hid to survive. After the war, George went to the London School of Economics. He moved to the United States and eventually started his own hedge fund. But he didn't get really famous until 1992. That's when he bet $10 billion against the British pound. The gamble made him $1 billion in just one day, and it earned him a nickname, the man who broke the Bank of England.
With George Soros as a large shareholder, it actually shows you that it's an interesting factor in itself on its own, taking away that there's going to be a demand and a boom for staycations. Another simple factor is looking at available Airbnbs within the surrounding area throughout summer and then tracking how they get booked up. pre-advanced, and it's really interesting to see how quick they were booked up. My next flag, and the area that I was really interested in, was the fact that in early February we saw that there was police having to send people home from Brighton Pier and remove them from the premises. This was when we was in full lockdown and we're not supposed to be outside. So if that's when we're not allowed to be outside, what are we going to be like when we are able to be outside? So there is a huge demand there. It's very quite clear cut. The staycations is going to grow. I can buy into this penny stock. Now, the fantastic part about this was pre-COVID, Brighton Pier was trading at around 60 to 65 pence. We was now trading at 28. To me, this was a huge upside, even if it's just a relief rally, going from 28, going back to pre-COVID levels. That's a 100% upside move. And we know there's going to be huge demand and these places are going to be busy. Now, with that said, we know that Brighton Pier's fundamentals are not the best. They haven't been making a lot of money, and that's obvious because they've been shut down. This is why the share price dropped all the way from 65 all the way down to 28. This is the lowest the share price has been, and I think this is a great level to be interested in general, let alone knowing that staycation bookings and there's going to be a huge boom. And whilst we're making this video, there's not actually much news out there telling you that Brighton Pier is busy or it's getting, really, really booked up. This is only going to drive more people's attention to look into Brighton Pier as a share and see the potential long-term opportunity. The aspect for me where I'm ahead of everyone else is that no one else has thought of this opportunity. The people that did think of this opportunity are the guys that are in my weekly lessons. If you want to be a part of my weekly lessons, then drop in the description below and you can have a check out and join us where we explore these different opportunities and do our research to find out the best opportunities in the stock market. Overall, trading, just like we'd said on the oil trade, it's all about being ahead of everyone else and predicting what the next curve was. We knew that with the pressure that the government was seeing, that there was going to have to be some sort of lifting on restaurants and pubs, allowing, even if it is outside drinking, we know that that's going to boom, especially going into the summer period. And we're going to show you a news article of what happened on the first day when the lockdown was lifted, where you could go to a pub or a restaurant as long as it's outside.
2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats, have your first drinks.
Cheers. It's great, it's really great, and more than anything, for businesses to survive through all of this, I think that's the real happiness in getting this place back up and running again.
We've got an order!
As you can see, on day one, there was over 6,000 visitors on Brighton Pier, and that was pretty predictable from what we have seen in our research and build up to this period of time. And that just meant there was going to be a big rally. We were seeing rallies that was a 10% day, a 20% day, 6% day. And it was almost like that what we knew and all the research that we built up from February and before that, and from January and February, all of that research has now been figured out by people at a later stage, and they're deciding to buy into Brighton Pier going, this is going to be a good investment over the next year or two. I'm in this for the short term, and as you can see, we made over 70% profit with literally from February the 2nd all the way through to mid-April. That is a huge amount of return to be able to make in such a short period of time. So guys, if you want to get involved in weekly lessons, it'll be in the description. More so, if you want to see how I do this research and my day-to-day activity behind closed doors, then also in the link in the description, you'll see a link for Close Friends. Close Friends allows you to see my stories that are only specific to you, and it shows you exactly sort of what my day-to-day activity is, whether it's me in my office doing a refurb or whether it's me behind closed doors doing research on a certain stock, and you get to see that insight that the general public do not see. This video is brought to you by myfxchoice.com. Great brokerage, great sponsor. We're going to be working with them over the next couple of months. So if you want to see more content like this, then get in the description. Make sure you thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.